I'm saying? So imagine that this ruthless ass, yo.
Yeah, we laugh. But you keep flowing though, because I know what you were saying. I don't want to stop you, even though we're in the middle of a conversation. Already get into it. Get into it. But they wanted to start. I'm ALBYBEATZ.
Rocking with the 80s Productions, man.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Word the
What we were
80s.
talking about was Michael Rainey.
Oh yeah. We did, yeah.
I think y'all probably heard a little bit of that in the beginning.
Let me see if I got it loaded up.
You know what I'm saying? Let's do it how we do it. How you feeling?
We're gonna, yeah. Oh, I'm feeling. I gotta think. I think I'm feeling relaxed right now, though. I'm feeling. Yeah, man, I'm feeling relaxed. I think there's still a part of me that's tense. I think you and I told I told you about something that happened to me earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But still relieved, because there's certain conversations that need to take place, and then also relieved because in terms of like my entire day, it was pretty relaxed. It was like kind of chill, cruising. Yeah, I didn't stress at work or anything, so overall good day.
No stress at work. Nice. That's it.
Yeah. So that's why it's like I'm relieved. I mean, again, a little tense because just coming off of that still is kind of like, but yeah.
I just saw a friend of mine. That's why I know. Let's clap it up for a win. That's a win. That's a win at work right there. I had a friend of mine post how that was like the most upsetting thing for her. She was like, it sucks when you enjoy your job and then other people just mess it up for you. And I was like, yeah, that does suck. That does suck. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've definitely had plenty of those. Days are going well and then things mess it up. But you chilling though? How you?
That no stress at all, man. Yeah. Still off the high of journey and everything. She should be home soon. Man. Yeah. So she was born. I don't know. She's premature. So she stayed. If you don't know that, if you're young, you're not watching, know that about babies, they stay in the hospital for a little longer because her little brother or her big brother, I should say, Ethan, has so many questions. My nephew. He has so many questions, and he just didn't understand why she had to stay. For a little bit longer. It was really cute seeing it breaking down to him. Yesterday he got to feed her for the first time because they do something really cute like called Sibling Day.
Okay.
So for kids under 18.
Oh, at the hospital.
Yeah,
the hospital she's in. Okay.
For sure.
That's nice. So Sibling Day would be when they bring out the.
Huh?
They bring out the they let you bring any
kid under
18 related to the child that was being born.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and one thing about that I learned was
it's because they're usually strict. Yeah.
Well, it was me. I was just so high of it was just such a lovely vibe, man. Newborn babies, that baby journey. Mm-hmm. So then I see the other baby next. It's a journey, and I was just ecstatic. So I was just I asked a question what's this baby boy's name? And she was like, oh no, we really can't. I was like, oh, sorry. Oh man, it just made me laugh. I was so comfortable, and I didn't think, all right, rules. Yeah. And I love it though. Protect these babies, man. The second day we went back, there were more born, so it was just beautiful to see. You see some empty whatever you think.
Incubators or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And next thing you know, it's just flooded, and you see the doctors working on them, pumping them my air,
busy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Stressed. Right. So. Right. I
can't imagine. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well.
Dreamy loved his job. That's what it seemed like. Right. Gray. Miranda Gray seemed to like her.
Maybe. Hopefully.
Those are the only doctors I know.
Only doctors I know. Well, listen. It shows scandalous in there, so. Right. They're stressed. Right. There was a lot of stressful things happening on that show.
Those baby born episodes, the less stressful ones, where those are beautiful ones, are there any beautiful episodes there that are not stressful? Because it's true, man. Those kind of dramatic shows, they got me, man. When there was a shooting, it got me. I started watching. That's what it got me. It would have been a nice. Now that I think about it.
Well, I imagine. Look, if my job in mental health services, if that career, there's a lot going on, and the folks who work on the front lines are overworked, burned out, as we say. you know, I also imagine that it's the same in the hospital industry. So I'm sure with the way things have been backed up, the way people have left over the last few years since COVID, I gotta imagine the hospitals are tight. Like, you know, unless you're a very well resourced hospital, I gotta imagine. I mean, with restrictions that were added, right? And again, they haven't raised the pay in many industries, and not even in hospitals, as much as like the workload has increased. So I know that has caused people to move around in my field. So I imagine it's happening there. I
didn't know that. Yeah.
So, and the little that I do know from Kim's sister, you know, it's like stressful as hell. You know, it's stressful as hell. I mean, there's a lot of people in need of medical services, especially if you're a hospital that is providing services, you know, to people with no insurance, you know, people in need. Like basically the hospitals here in the Bronx, man. Like, you know, I don't know if you remember the last time you've been into an emergency room, but I've been to an emergency room post-COVID. Emergency room has always been intense.
Shout out to St. Barnabas. That was the last one I was in, but I was a child, man. I was very, very young.
It's,
you know, I'm born in Jacoby.
I went to one recently. Jacoby. I went to the one right there in Lincoln, like about a year ago. Wow, man, that emergency room, dogs. Wow, it's just so.
Wait, that's the one by 3rd Ave?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, by 149. Yeah, 149. Well, 149 and
I'm mad. I said I was born in Jacoby. I wasn't born in Jacoby. I was like thinking, I was born in Lincoln. I can't believe I said the right. Yeah. Yo, I was watching. He's
like, wait, where's that at again?
I was like, I don't think they. You know, you said it. Shout out to Jacoby. That's where I was born. Wait, no. Let's keep shooting. Sorry. Then you said Lincoln. I was like, I can't let this pass. I'm like, wait, it's the 3rd Ave, right? That's where I'm from.
Oh man, you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
Camera, I was getting some podcast stuff, and Mace was like, "I'll let you know where I was at in Chicago," and Cameron was like, "That's crazy. That's real wild that you don't know where you was at in Chicago." You know, like you want to talk about repping it,
yeah, but you don't know where you went. Oh man.
As far as I was like forgetting we from West Farms. I was like, sheesh.
So the last time you was in Lincoln Hospital was when you was born?
Nah, it might have been. I think Amanda was born too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember going back a little bit.
Well, the closest to hospital to you to us would be St. Barnabas.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. That's the first one.
Yeah.
That one gets love. Up that hill, man. How many times I gotta go up that hill?
Yeah. So I did go to Lincoln Hospital emergency room, and it was just so packed. I know it's always been packed because I remember going to the emergency room before that. You know, but like. The way if you see the workers' face, you know when they stressed out. You know what I'm saying? You know when people are exhausted.
Yeah, for sure.
You know when people.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, so just seeing how they're trying to move people along, like, you know, I mean, bro, when I got injured myself and I went to the emergency room, and I thought I went to a pretty okay hospital, packed, like not so packed, not as bad as Lincoln. Lincoln was like whoa, but packed enough, and then. Like just the way, but when I got inside to get treated, it was very much like you could tell in there it was a rush. Like people just moving people where you need to be. Oh no, it's not you, it's you. Okay, so put this person right here. No, it's not them. Oh, it's okay. Oh, you're gonna have to wait a couple 5 minutes more, and then just like moving along. Next person, so we taking them? No, so we taking them? Oh, okay. It's like very much
I'm
like
still alive. Oh no, not
let's just move people, you know, and let's get people going. And it sucks because. You know, it's a really bad system we got going on here in America, and it's been said plenty of times of how terrible our healthcare system is. Just the fact that you need a job to have insurance to then get good medical care is just terrible. It's terrible. Or you got to pay a lot of money. People don't even want to take ambulance ride because it costs thousands of dollars to take one. If you call the ambulance to pick you up or something, it's kind of crazy, bro. It's like, anyway, that's why our hospital systems unfortunately suck. But thankfully, going back to the good news,
we don't get sick. Imagine, thankfully, we don't get sick.
Well, even those numbers are looking good.
Well, I eat my veggies.
Yeah,
I eat my veggies.
Well, hopefully, you know, I know there are definitely, I'm sure, hospitals that are well resourced and that will take care of you. But of course, you probably likely have to be super rich to access that. But the hospitals available to most of us, man.
Well, no, I gotta go get checked up soon, so I'll have updates for y'all. On how that goes. I'm definitely gonna go get checked up soon. You know, shout out to all of those who need to go get checked up. Go make that happen.
Yeah.
Go make that happen. You only live once, so you only got one, you know, one body to do it. Don't be stingy with your hospital visits.
Listen, man, I'll tell you, man. It's definitely something we need to do. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, man. I'm telling you, I was like, it's. Yeah, I'm coming up on a year. I'm coming up on a year, which is okay. But
that's
ideally,
like
check them multiple times a year.
Men don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, and men don't go get checked up. Fellas, go get checked up, man. I mean, like that's actually something that we promote awareness.
Well, at the very least,
if your body brings awareness to you, then don't ignore it, man.
Absolutely, and get tested.
Oh, for sure.
There's definitely because that you can do for free.
Look at you. I ain't even talking about sex. You're out here talking about.
At least in New York City, there's definitely places you can go get checked for free, so you don't have to worry about insurance. I know going to the doctor is like this for me has always been about trying to find the right one, and then also
damn, that's intimate, man.
Well, also one that because I've been to some doctors that was like you could tell they're just like you okay, all right, let's try to get you out of here, that bullshit, man. And then there's doctors that take the time.
That's like a clinic. That's just like a clinic doc. Yeah, I hear you. You want like a
and then it's an insurance thing. I will at least because that's the thing. Even if I'm gonna pay them a lot of money, like it's gotta be worth it, or at least I know I'm gonna be treated well. However, that's an excuse that shouldn't stop me from exploring and obviously getting checked, and definitely not letting more than a year pass that I don't get checked, especially at our age, as I say.
Yeah, amen. Yeah,
but we would encourage folks and young men to get started with that journey.
Facts. But yeah, like
getting checked. Do not ignore a pain that you have. Listen, man.
I would say once you get over 30, it should be well, That's the knowledge.
I think if we start them younger, man, if we always start younger, it's always like.
I was like forced to go when you were younger. To me, my mother wasn't gonna see that. Like I graduated at.
No, but like that's what I mean. Like even in our, if you could get started in our 20s, I think that would be develop it as a habit.
I feel it. Yeah.
Develop it as a habit to get checked, and then be more diligent around after 30. I would say, yeah. Especially with like physical exercise. I mean, I'm glad.
Back up a little bit, please.
Yeah.
Mad low. That's me over there, so right? That's it. Yeah, gang. Right there. Like when I hit the yellow, it'd be good because you hitting reds.
I'm not trying to really hit reds either.
No, but it's good though. You sound real nice. You sound good. It's not clear. It's not getting too loud. So my fault. Yeah. So yeah, getting checked up, man. So you and I on the same boat.
Yeah. Well, this is the way we keep ourselves accountable now. So we got this on,
especially with the masses.
Looking at us. Yeah. So now that'll be a problem. All right.
Yeah, I was watching this. Speaking of that, like if you start sweating and everything, I gotta put you onto this. The Ball Brothers, Tony Baker. Okay. Tony Baker and this other dude, they call themselves like the Ball Brothers. They podcast. They have this thing and they did a stand up. It's gonna have you cracking up, man. Wow. Shout out to them. They did this 44-minute little thing that it was like a practice, like to keep it like spontaneous. Hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious.
Nice. All right, Tony Baker, that's some feel good stuff because we were talking about how shitty the healthcare system is.
So let's get to throw it in. Yeah. Feel good.
Because today we the last few weeks we've been getting into like the Manosphere. I know for us it's been like eye opening, and even to the point where today you came in, right, and we were like, both of us already saw the same thing come across our timeline. And then, I mean, it kind of started us off with tonight's kind of conversation, which then we spoke a little bit about preparing to get into a bit about men and sexual assault, which it's a topic that will likely be revisited, I imagine, in the future.
Of course.
More because again, a lot of these conversations will need to be revisited. Hopefully, as we get better, things change, things evolve, or again, bringing on guests will help out. So so the video, right, we started off already mentioning where we was at with it, the video of actor Michael Rainey Jr. of the famous Power series show, what was on a live stream, and I honestly I didn't catch. So the way it came across was I was on Twitter, and then for you it came across on, where did you see the video?
I believe it was X, Twitter as well.
Yeah, so we both saw it. Look at that. So we both came across the video. Let me see. Yeah. So let me see. Do I have it loaded up? Yeah, I do have it loaded up. So should we play the video, or like, what do you? Is it worth playing the video?
Yeah, screen and play that video, man. Yeah. People didn't see it, man.
All right. So let me kind of figure out how to like put
it
the
was
screen.
real quick.
Yeah, man. It was. So it's an unfortunate video that we both
And
came
uncomfortable.
across, which made us brought us to again men and sexual assault. So
Yeah,
we mentioned last week that it's Men's Mental Health Month, right? And so
Right.
in the spirit of continuing the conversation on men's mental health specifically, I think one of the areas that affects our mental health the most, as well, not the most, obviously, it's not about the fucking which hurts us the most. It's all of it hurts us, but one of the areas that I think that affects our mental health is sexual assault. I think us being victims of it, us also being perpetrators of it on a scale, you know. So I think, but the part where we are also victims of it is the least spoken about for sure, and so we hope to get into some of that today, and I think we will revisit this conversation because it's also important, which you have talked about already. Just addressing men and sexual assault when we are perpetrators of it. So I think we did address in previous streams, talk about men as assaulters, and you know, that having
even children, even not children, but teens. You know,
teens,
some of the kids you were dealing with when they were being inappropriate.
Absolutely,
you know?
Crossing boundaries and being sexually harassing some of the girls. So
Right.
we're definitely going to revisit the conversation again, because again, it's always important to address it and address the men who are perpetrators, but also the men who are at risk for perpetration of these things, or the men who are at risk of behaving in these ways.
And sometimes I think you can't call it, man. Like this video that we're about to show you right now. I mean, you can't call it. It was right there, you know. Love to Michael Rainey. I think he handled it well, as you'll see, you know, as best as you could.
And it's also a layered conversation. So let me. I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to put this on the screen without like. Fucking,
without having it all.
Yeah, because I don't want to put everything in the background. I just want to like play the video. Because the way,
can't you put your full screen? There it is.
Right, but then I don't know what OBS looks like.
I'll show you right here. I'm looking at it right here.
So here's what I'm gonna try to do is when I go to this window, which is
because I'm looking at it right here, so I could let you know.
Right here, see, I could just also fix this up right here.
Oh, okay.
Like I could just fix this up and like.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
There it is.
So,
you know, that's it. We get the gist of it. Yeah. Oh, perfect, bro.
You feel what I'm saying, bro?
You know what you're doing.
I forgot I could do this.
Shout out to ALBY, you know what we doing on that OBS.
Production and production.
Production and design.
All right, so we was looking at this video, which we're about to play for y'all. So, so for some context again, he was on a live stream of another famous streamer by the name of Tylil. I don't know. See, I didn't do enough research to know like where is he from. But while I play the video, I could look this up. Right, but let's run the video.
Right.
Everybody in here has worked a job that's more than $1 million. Y'all never worked. Y'all never did nothing. Y'all literally have 5 minutes of max in here. Then y'all gotta get out. Okay.
5 minutes. You know how much 5 minutes is?
Okay.
Kentucky.
They've never worked a thing. They've never worked a job, but they can play with us. Anybody need water? No, we good, bro. Paper towels with them. Shut the fuck up.
And he said he violated, right?
I know this shit, but I'm getting texts. The energy shifted and niggas got left. Like, all that shit really made me, like, all this side of shit really made me feel away. Because when people come, this is your crib. It's about hospitality. That means everything. Stop telling me to ignore it, because I was trying to ignore it. Y'all dick riders was spamming. That shit really got me really feeling away because, bro, I be around celebrities all day. You feel what I'm saying? Like, even when I first started being my first few celebrities, don't get me wrong, I do unusual shit. No homo. Like, nothing crazy. Like, I'd be like, yo, like, I be trying to record, get a video, a picture, whatever. But due time, you feel what I'm saying? That shit don't even notice you. We all the same. But she never seen somebody that caliber, so she start. You know what I'm saying? And that's my sister, so like I'm not gonna say nothing bad about her. I'm just trying to tell her like, you don't want to be man for you, see me or him. If he's here for me, he's here for you. Family Sunday dinner shit every Sunday. You feel what I'm saying? I got people telling me you gotta be aware who you have around when these people come. Why should I? We all equal. You feel what what I'm saying. This don't be. We all got mutual agreement.
So that's the gist.
That's the gist of it. Let's keep in mind he's talking about his sister. You know.
So right here in the I mean, as soon as the video starts,
Well, the hand is right there. That's for her. The hand is the first thing you see. The hand is the first thing you see. First of all, so she led with her purpose. All right, and yeah, interesting way to put that. Man.
Yeah,
so she definitely accomplished her goal, as we see, and that was no consent. As you see, he wasn't even seeing her coming. Right, that's also a clear indication. I mean, you see, he could have even saw her coming.
Right,
hands up, not even looking that way.
Right,
and now, go ahead.
No, I mean, let me. You running back, you just straight.
Whoa, hey yo. So then he don't want to be too hot, so he's not gonna push her hand away. So he's frozen. Alright, fight, flight, or freeze. Froze, acted, so that the children are in front of him, which is the most uncomfortable part. I'm looking to see that she's touching him, and a kid is in the way. How awkward is that? That's the saddest thing about this video. Like, you can see the dude. That his, her brother, he's like, cursing in front of the kids. I'm not even gonna complain about that. Like, language, it's a hard thing to cut. We're gonna have to figure that out as a process. You know what I'm saying? Like, the biggest thing is that right there. Like, my goodness.
I mean,
and I definitely have reacted the way he has because
there's layers.
It's uncomfortable. I do that. When I'm uncomfortable, I've been known to
there's layers.
I laugh. There. Talk about them. Man. I want to know what layers you see.
Well, you just did the playback, right? Like,
play by play, right? Yeah.
Right, which is I think you were capturing in many ways exactly what probably was going on through his head from like the moment he was like, oh, caught in shock, the moment it was like pause, the moment it was like he's probably looking around like, what is going on? Like, this kid's here,
Yeah, like, who knows that this is happening and nobody sees this? Oh.
And yeah, everyone, I think when I saw some comments already, a lot of the commentaries around like, is it like, what if the roles were reversed? And that's his sister talking, and he just grabbed him, put his hand right.
Started again behind the shorty.
Oh no, just right, did the same thing. Just went for her same part. Like he went up to her and grabbed her right between her legs. Like, yo, what's up? Like, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
Like, I think for a lot of people, their ears will perk up and be like, wait a minute, whoa, why would he do that? And like, that's clear sexual assault, right? Like, that's OD. That's not okay. And so I think the layered part is then in this example, I think because of the perceived perpetrator, which is a woman, young woman, and then his reaction, then it technically wasn't sexual assault because he didn't react in a negative way, right? He didn't, yo, what the hell's wrong with you? He didn't even give her a mean look. He's kind of like, it seems like he's going along with it almost, but he definitely puts his hand out. But I think the perception could be that he was kind of going along with it. It wasn't like he was scared. It wasn't like he was a victim. And he's a man, right? So he must like that. Like, of course you gotta expect, if you a fly dude, if you got money, if you got change, you gotta expect that women are gonna be after you. You gotta expect that they're gonna want to touch you, right? Like, you a fly dude. Like, what else did you expect? Don't women grab you up all the time just like you grab up on them all the time? And so,
but does he do that?
Right. Well, I don't know.
That's what we gotta go by, case by case,
right?
And but not just generalize like all men and like all women. That's one of the biggest issues that we do to each other too, right? Like,
but I think with this case,
Israelis, they're gonna have that issue. I had to deal Puerto Rican, Dominican. They're making me choose a side.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But this is layered because it's like, well, we could definitely talk about like, okay, what if it was a reverse? But I think we already know on the outset. Of course, if it's the reverse as a society, we've already been trained that like, whoa, that's a big bad thing because women are already the faces of the victims of sexual assault,
violence.
They're the faces of that. Like, men are not victims of that. We don't get raped. Whoa, what?
Well, to common knowledge, you know what I'm saying, to what we know.
That's what's been I think,
and this
promoted.
This is
and I think that's what's been, and that's how people also then talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, because
what was probably made popular by men, obviously, you know what I'm saying, when you think about it, and then it's like how it's like crying wolf, that once it gets turned on you, that now we're supposed to stop it immediately, right? You know what I'm saying? We're just you know what I'm saying, sexually assaulting men, and it's not, it don't feel good, right? And I was like, now we let's switch it off and go for the male reproductive system. And now we forcing y'all to get clipped, right, at a certain age, because why would you have a child at an old age, bro? What you trying to do? Like clip? No. Like what if we trying to do that? Like start enforcing that. What else? We could go on and on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, tit for tat, that's not what it is. Eye for an eye, that's not what it is. You know, that's why to that point I do respect. He actually addressed the situation. I was trying
the host Talu.
No, Michael Rainey. No. Actually, Michael Rainey.
Oh
yeah, he addressed it. I just wish I had it, but in a I could see if I could pull it up because
let's see if it'll work fast enough. I mean, you know, that's what makes it complicated, because I think there's a subset of men who still believe, well, you know, that's not the worst thing that could happen to him. I think most men will look at that and say she was doing too much.
I'll tell you.
But I don't know
what
that.
He said.
Yeah, which is going to be good. You found it?
Yep.
All right.
At this point, everyone has seen the video circulating online. I am still in shock and don't fully know how to process what happened last night. This is an unfortunate situation that I do not condone in any way. I can't take it lightly. I know I would be in serious trouble if the roles were reversed. The fact is, sexual assault is never okay, regardless of gender or status. We're all human and we should respect each other. Most importantly, we should always respect ourselves. Okay. I was like, I respect. What I respect is that statement right there. That was straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, blame.
Man, honestly, I didn't even know he could sound like that, to be quite honest. I've just seen him on other podcasts. This is me being an asshole. I'm sorry, but I've seen him on other podcasts. I'm like, he wrote that. Okay.
No, he seems to be able. Like, I feel like I relate to that. I could like let go of all awareness of speaking intellectually and caring what the fuck I'm saying. Like, I just threw out the F word, though I know I did it. And then I could actually, you know, self-control. That's why I see it. If we're talking about a fruit of the spirit.
Listen, I just hope that's not some.
Well, you could call it code switching, but
I hope he really feels that.
It's just, listen, it's really about respect. You know? It's not, you could call it code switching if you want, but that has a negative connotation to it. Or it could just be like time and place. Like you, to your point, time and place. Maybe he would let her touch his shit. But my man's.
Well, no, it was definitely it's a form of assault.
Fuck with her though, but I'm saying maybe he would.
Definitely not after this.
But like, you know, like I went through that, and I'll be wrong if I said, I'd be lying if I told you that the shorty who forced herself upon me when I was 11 wasn't attractive. It was just that I was 11. I wasn't thinking. Let's not even talk about age. Let's talk about just where your mind's at. My mind wasn't there. I wasn't there. Where was his mind at? If they were just addressing children and then he looked over to his friend and now you're doing that, that's weird. That's uncomfortable.
Of course.
So it's like, it's facts, man. You just look at what's happening instead of like, sometimes our mind does too much like flips and, you know what I'm saying, acrobats when it's like, it's right there in front of us. If you look at the how do you call it? The timeline of it all, how it happened, it's unjustified. Like, why would you do that?
Right.
So, I would just treat it, you know, I thought it was nice. It would be nice if men were treated that way. You know, if they got that kind of conversation, right, where they got a Instagram post about it, well, I'm sure that everyone knows what happened. Like, you know,
no, it's good on him to definitely apply. I guess my push is, my pessimism is whether he really believes it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because if
believes what?
In this idea, because I think what he's portrayed and definitely his character, but the way he's come out is he portrays the characters as very much in the manosphere, is a masculine man, alpha male.
This dude?
So yeah. I mean, yeah, you've seen Power. That's what I'm saying. You've seen Power.
Nah, but that's a show though. Like,
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
I pray to. Listen,
Hey,
I would love to
but
play a
is
role
that
like
not-
that too. And I'm
but
from
is
the, and I'm
that-
from the Bronx, and I
is-
talk like this. But don't be running up on me and fold them.
Is
Like,
that not an
I'm not over
influential
here just
role? Is
trying
what
to
I'm
fight
saying. What I'm
anybody.
saying is what he represents in the
or fuck
media.
anybody either.
In the media, which is very influential, right? Are characters and men who promote a lifestyle that's very much in the box. That's I'm a man,
That's
man.
what I think came at him.
Where
the lifestyle.
where I don't get raped because it doesn't happen to me. I'm too dominant for that. Right, so that's what I challenge. That I hope when he writes a post like that, like it's not some press release shit because his manager told him, well, you know, you gotta address this now because he's a big star.
Yeah,
he ain't no little star.
I don't know him.
He
either,
got
so,
managers and he got
I don't know.
agents and he got PR, and ads went viral. So it's like, if you say you liked it or you say, yo, I ain't really got a problem with it, she was just doing too much. And it's like, nah.
Yeah, because he didn't really address that part. He just said I was shocked. He said that, but he called it sexual assault. That's the big difference.
And I think is right.
You
And
know?
what I'm saying is then what I've come to know, and based on how I grew up, again, most men would not look at that as sexual assault.
I didn't look at it until I started thinking about how was I
Right.
introduced into sex and why
And so,
why you know
I think I've come to look at behaviors like
that's
that
a problem though.
as sexual assault much later in my life. You know, when I was already like 27, 26. But again, I think I wouldn't get there if I didn't do the work that I do, one, or had the privilege and to even learn the things that I've been able to learn early on about sexual assault and rape culture specifically, to know that stuff like that is part of rape culture. I guess
Yeah.
I guess I still, in terms of we were talking about how do we talk about it, then is by having more conversations like this. So again, I do hope that this gives an opportunity to spark conversation versus like this is just a moment that passed on a whim.
Yeah,
like,
I wonder if anybody feels comfortable. Like, think about like going
I
through this
addressed it and then like
in public. You know, me, I get the choice to speak on it that it happened to me. Like
Yeah.
he just happened to him. Who knows if it was his first time happening?
Right.
Like if he was shocked.
But I do
you
think.
know,
Well, did you see the video recently? There was like that little rapper, Little Ty, little something that they showed him with a stripper dancing on him and a bunch of men like cheering that on.
No, I didn't see that.
I think I was gonna show you that last week,
But
and
yeah,
I think it
no, but
froze.
we know that that's what Lil Wayne's story is, right? He rapped about it. Well, Birdman, they threw him in there, you know. So it's not uncommon. It's not unheard of.
And that's
It's,
also
you know,
sexual
again,
assault.
the wolf. What are you feeding?
Because if it's a grown stripper man and he's waving his dick in a 10-year-old or 12-year-old girl's
Yeah, or
face,
if we switched it off,
that's a pedophile.
But if
That's,
you had a bunch
lock
of
him
women
up.
that put
A
her
minor.
into that, that's a weird image. That's
we'll be
weird.
screaming A minor. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, get
yeah.
this guy out of here. Like,
Dun, dun, dun.
it's pedophile right
That's
away.
great. That sounds like.
But again, that's why I know that the response is different, because his videos came out and I haven't heard no follow up about like there's an investigation going on into everybody in that room. Into everybody in that room.
I'm sorry. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Or do they take male? Because, bro.
Because the expectation that as a 12-year-old he's supposed to like it. I would even play it, but I'm not even gonna play that damn video. If I'll find it, I'll find it for us. But I don't know.
It's unfortunate.
I don't know where it
because, look,
exists.
for you to grow up, us two to grow up as men, you think because there's a history of your gender that has been, you know, sexually violent, and they had that history that when it happens to you, that you should be, like, it should mean any less.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you shouldn't be like, you know, because that is, that's a real thing. Living with that guilt, where like when it happens to you, why even say anything when you know it happens worse to women? As a man, you don't say that. You just man up, right?
Yeah.
You know,
You're just supposed to take it.
but that's not okay, man. That's not okay, man.
Damn.
That's why we gotta get past that. I think that's the reason why, you know, the generations that are coming to fruition are challenging a lot of these rigid lines, man. It's terrible.
Forgot, man. I forgot the name of that little. If I remember the name of that little rapper, man, I could find the video. But yeah,
box people when it's just gonna happen. It's gonna get hurt. Imagine literally
it's
getting
being
boxed
repeated.
in. You're
It's
gonna
being
start getting
repeated.
violent. You're
Yeah.
gonna push back.
or you're gonna assault people when you get older. And so
also thinking about her, that did she think that was okay? You know what I'm saying? Did it happen to her? What made her? What you know, sparked off in her mind that was just the way to go? You know, this kid's 23. She didn't seem that old. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get a great glimpse of the
but they're
face.
probably about the same age. I imagine
that's what I
21.
imagine
Yeah,
as well.
21, 22. So
You
young
know?
20s, early 20s.
It shows he was born in the new
But,
millennia. So,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
They know enough. It's again, this culture, I think. Again, if we look at rape culture, I think that's, and that term, it stands for like the way that sexual assault, the way that the lack of consent when it comes to sex is like embedded in our society, and like the promotion that's a thing is bad. Like when you think about rape jokes, again, we were just talking about Eminem last week and Guilty Conscience. Again, he put a whole verse about raping a 15-year-old girl, and it was like the hottest song on Billboard, you know. And so that's, again, if we allow him to just blatantly talk about that and no one's really like, yo, that's a fucking whack ass song. I get it, you wanted to like, but I don't get why you made a fictional character to talk about a fictional scenario, and that fictional scenario happens to be
very real.
You right?
Yeah,
sexually assaulting a 15-year-old. You know,
real.
So it's like, man, we have a long way to go until we address these things. And then for regular men, like not regular men, but men on the ground, right, to just be like, yo, that actually is why we're not gonna consume that anymore. You know what? That is trash. Come with something better. You know what I mean? Like, let's not put that out there, because again, whether we like it or not, it starts from even those small examples of the ways we normalize sexual assault, and then it gets to someone really assaulting somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're justified in the society we live in, you know? So with this, that's why it's like, is with the good news that I did come across today is that I think a highlight, I should say, not good news, but a highlight, I think, to steer us more positive, is that a young man asked me if I seen the video, and I was just curious to hear their response, and because they are, you know, I'm working with these young men, you know what I'm saying, they're growing up, and some of these young men are really growing up in a certain situation where it's their definition of manhood has to be limited for survival. You know, they can't stray too far away from that definition, because it could lead to people constantly trying to attack you.
Yeah, I understand.
So, but it was good to hear that they recognized there was something wrong with it. I mean, their reaction and how was more like, should have did that to me, I would what crazy, like I was like, okay, you don't have to react like that. Like, not if it doesn't call for it, not if it doesn't, like, you know what I'm saying, unless you really, like, I'm not, you know, if your life is in danger, you know, whatever goes. But like, you know, obviously they were not okay with it, you know, the whole point. I was worried that they were gonna be like, but it wasn't that serious, why everybody making a big deal out of it? That was what I was like. But they was like, yo, you seen this? I was like, yeah, I seen the video. What do you think? And it's like, nah, she wasn't cool, man. I don't know, she tweaking for that. I was like, oh yes, good. But they didn't name it as sexual assault. I think that's the part where they did admit to, like, okay, it was wrong, but it was almost like, do we have to call it that? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, because that's what that is. But I think, again, it goes back to that part of what we've been socialized to think, that, right, if you're a man, you're not the victim. You're not supposed to be the victim.
And it is what we were talking about before about acceptable behaviors. Like, we really didn't, you know, we do it to ourselves. I didn't say anything, right? I chose not to say anything.
Well, you're also really young.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Because at that age, that's even before teenager, before you hit puberty. So,
but it happened then too, and I still didn't say anything. Right, so it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's jumped. It's been just an experience that, you know.
Well, like a woman,
I don't know. They're not like. It's hard to look at them as predators, because it was just that it seemed that was like the culture. Like, that is also, the energy didn't feel predatory. I mean, I was dragged into a room, sure, yeah, but she was laughing, playing around. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it wasn't aggressive and like, shut the like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that is not that.
Like, come on, just go along with it. Come on.
Like I didn't know. And it's gonna true, like, you don't know what you're about to receive, so, you know, you're gonna enjoy this. And it was like, you know, I just wanted to go beat that level of Super Mario and, you know, type shit. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's young. Super Mario, we're talking 94, 95. That's,
yeah, there was
90. We're talking
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
PS1 type shit.
I think so.
And then, but you weren't wrong. I gotta tell you, like, you know, I just, again, it's just, again, we're a conversation of consent, so you can have mutual understanding and meet on common ground. Like, we're trying to, like, okay, there is both and, like, there is a heaviness to this conversation, and like you said, I'm gonna bring some balance, and we're gonna elevate this and say, oh, I see this good. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't know how to do that. You know, we don't know how to try to see the good and the bad and the bad and the good. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were getting to something.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, you know, because the struggle here is to say, like, freezing, right? And then I think you start to think as men, right? Like, or I'm a man, right? Is that something that you recall, like, justifying it? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you recall if at that young age you were already like trying to justify because I'm a man, I'm a young man, I'm a boy, I'm supposed to like this?
No.
Because I think we get that
For
message.
me, no.
We get that message very early on that, like, you be the chaser. So when a girl chases you, you're supposed to like it. Like, you're supposed to be the. I mean, we grew up with Shawn Michaels, bro, the Heartbreak Kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy was getting women. Like, he's a man. Like, you were supposed to like that when you get your attention from women.
But
right?
a lot of
our younger heroes, like, they were very sought after and chased.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be them. So that means, like, girls are supposed to be after you. So you're supposed to like it. So again, that's a message we were watching wrestling since we were like 8, 9. So
right. But again,
it never crossed. Right. So you're saying no. So it didn't cross.
No, man. You
don't
know what we're getting into.
Well, what I'm asking is, like, at that moment, because I know it sounded like you're saying that there was that, like, in the moment, you know, it was wrong. It felt wrong.
That's not what I wanted. I was
your
just
body
saying
was
no.
Like glitching, almost like
saying no. I was definitely trying not, you know, and acting towards getting away. But she was left back, so she was like bigger like already, and I just submitted. You know what I mean? I knew it would be over, type shit. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, tongue down my throat, sloppy, like. Then I went ahead and I was mad funny because I said, ew, I went and brushed my teeth and she saw me and and then I really don't remember much about that. She took off her shirt, put her hand on my hands on her chest. She had a great chest, you know what I'm saying? You know, I noticed, you know, looking back, you notice that, but I'm just a kid, right? So it's like that kid reacted like he didn't want that, and he didn't want that, you know? And then, but, you know, it's weird because it's like you know that it didn't happen, like it wasn't conscious, like I know I'm supposed to like this. You know what I mean? That didn't come into play. All my reactions were that I don't like this. But growing up, it's almost like expected. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the norm. So you don't say it's sexual assault because it's going to happen again. I.e., I tell you it did happen again. That wasn't the last or first time. So you almost start to learn how to control the atmosphere. So if it happens in a way that you don't mind. You know what I mean? And but still you don't learn how to control, you know what I'm saying, how to actually be, right? Because you're just taking what's happening to you and learning how to be okay with it. That was something that I had to understand that was messing, like I had to be aware of that.
Like justifying it almost because of the man box thing. It wasn't like. And did you even like did you even have time to again process, because it's like, not let's just move on from this.
No one knows it. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's just move on from this. Let's you know, let's just move on. Let's, you know what I mean? And then it almost sounded like you were expressing that, like, later on in life when you do think back into it, because you learned that, like, as a man you're supposed to like this. Then when you thought back that was
you're like, it's not that. I'm not tripping, right?
I'm not tripping,
she had a nice chest,
right?
But at the time you didn't want it. She forced her hands, then you yanked it off and moved away. Again, you're a kid, so I'm like, you know, she was stronger than me. I'm not gonna fight a woman.
Yeah.
Right. That's,
I mean, listen,
another thing.
Hey.
Right. But that's what. But
if you're fighting for your life, anybody can get it, right? But at the time, like,
think about it, like, well, you know,
you've already been trained.
They don't talk to you like that's gonna happen to you. They talk to you like you don't be that.
You don't do that, right?
They don't tell you what to do when that's a woman doing it to you. They just tell you not to hit women.
And they tell you not to assault women. Don't ever force her.
Yeah.
Right. Well, those
so
are
then
the
when
talks
that happens to you, what do you do?
And even rarely those talks happen, but that's at least the talk you do get. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, that's man, that's what I'm saying. Is that we
it's nuanced, man. Like you said, it's very layered.
Right, because we started also mentioning with, like, okay, so how do we get to a better place? Well, we got to talk about it. And that's why when you were like, when I was mentioning, I took that deep breath around, like, talking about it, because there is layers to peel, because we do have to get to a place where men also understand that, like, and be comfortable with the fact that, like, this definition that was given to us was a farce. Like, it was false. Like, it wasn't meant for us to take it for what they told us it was, right? Men don't cry. Men don't talk. You hide and you just suck it up. And you have to be dominant, and you have to, and you're never the victim. So I'm not gonna talk to you what to do when somebody's victimizing you. I'm gonna just tell you that you need to get up if somebody ever try it with you and beat their ass. Like, right? It's like,
I'm gonna take you. Oh no, they say I'm gonna beat your ass myself. Yeah, right. That's what,
if you don't
that's
do
what
it,
Kendrick said. I'll
right,
beat your ass
like,
twice if they beat your ass twice and you still.
And
here.
how many young men didn't get that talk from an adult that told them, you better not come over here? Like, I mean, I know young girls also got, and women got that conversation too.
Right. I've seen it.
Yeah. It's this expectation of, like, you're the fighter, you know.
Right.
And so that's what's so twisted, man. Because then you start really, again, I think what the struggle is becoming, and that's what sucks to me about seeing the Manosphere. Because again, I do think I'm privileged to be having these conversations early on, to then know how to look out for these things. But then there's still this generation of young men who, like, are faced with these situations, right? Like Michael Rainey, and then young men who are these are their media idols. So now they're seeing that, you know, we consume stuff like Guilty Conscience. I'm trying to think of other like
Kim, straight up on that. You know what I'm
saying? And other nasty things. And like, so now
all those things were popular, right? And we're singing them, and it's a whole generation. Of course, you know.
And so now, you know, how did they now? This is their version of that. The 15-year-olds, the 16-year-old young man.
For me, it's
the one that approached me and asked me about it, even though they're already in the streets having sex and all that. They're having sex, so they think they grown, but they're still 16. So they're asking me about stuff like this, like, and what is that? You know, how am I supposed to feel about that? Well, yeah, you know, let's name it what it is. Because yes, for men too, that behavior is not okay. That is, I'm glad he named it sexual assault, and that's something he put out publicly.
Right.
Again, I do hope that there's conversations happening in real life, because I know that there's been so.
Well, that was his personal Instagram.
Right. There's so many years, bro. There's so many years, Rob, that, like, we know from, because for us, since we were young men, again, we got the wrong ideas about, like, you're supposed to like it, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I ain't gonna tell you anything else. I can't tell you about if you don't like it, because that you're a faggot or something. You know, right? That we get that conversation. What, are you gay or something? You don't like it when a girl's on you? Like, what's going on or something? Right. So that's what we got since we were 5, and what we're now, you know what I'm saying, now as late, like early still in adulthood, going back and really re-examining these things. And then we get to do the real work. So, you know, so now we have a lot of generations of men who, again, are coming. Like, thankfully, there are a lot who have this awareness that we have. We're definitely not the only ones, because I have definitely mentors who talk to me about sexual assault and mental health and men. But yeah, I think about why what we do is so important, because we have a long way to go. You know, like, this stuff is really embedded in us. You know, from the fact that happened, and it seemed like no one in the room really even caught it.
Right.
So how comfortably in a
that's
small,
what it feels like, bro.
You
and
know,
people be around and you won't even remember, because it's just you two that it happened to, and it be even the assault really does feel like that. It's the saddest thing. Yeah. That it does feel very lonely there. So it's interesting, like, that I think about hearing you say Manosphere, and I think about how we're becoming the Manuscript, and, you know, just to understand and just see that and feel what the difference between that, you know what I'm saying, where we're trying to build something where you're involved in it. You know what I mean? It's not a Manosphere, like when you think about atmosphere, how it just has its own kind of living, it's already in existence, it already has its own gravitational pull, it's already a whole thing of its own. In the Manuscript, where it's you're in power, you're in control, you're responsible, you take accountability, you write the story, you write what you know what I'm saying, what you want to become. And that's the biggest push here, man. And man, I don't know how many times I want to say that all the time, man. That people, you got that power. I know it's sad where, you know, it feels like things get taken away from you, and that you don't feel that. So that's, but awareness. That's, I see duality in all of that, because even so, look at how God is so good. How through the trauma and getting awareness of that, to then make a change. Because now you're aware of something. Because that was my story, bro. I played too much because I didn't really go. What I went through, I felt like I suppressed it. Oh, just take. You know what I mean? Like, I think about What was I saying? Drew a blank real quick.
Talked about the awareness and duality.
God was shining that way, like you know. Thank you. Because it's just see it, like you know. For me, I find it quite interesting that you know I suppress so much. Like I could be a bubbly spirit. I could make a room feel good. When I experience something as a child that is a terrible experience, I don't want to feel that. But do I have it around me where somebody communicates about it and we have a chance to go through it? That's why balance, and I think God is showing me that that's very important because that's the one thing I lack. And then if I don't have that and I can't see that, that doesn't mean that they can't, that they're not going through it. So then I place too much because I'm not really ever trying to have any feeling than just a good one. You know, when something bad happens, I go through it alone. The same way I always did, even at home. You know? But when I go see you, I might catch you in a low moment, but I'm insensitive to that. So I go through something, and now I have to learn and ask myself, I just went through it now, but maybe they went through it then. And did I have awareness of what that world was or anything of that experience then? Not at all. You know? So that was the one thing that I see how it could be a beautiful thing, though, too. If awareness is the key for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, definitely. I think the awareness is definitely, I agree, is key to start with the change process. And at the same time, it's like education too is important, you know, because you know if we again even thinking about young men or men, if we stay ignorant to this topic, if we're afraid to talk about sexual assault, because it makes us tense, it makes us feel weird, is icky, and it's uncomfortable.
And we're so used to having an enemy, but that's what the Manosphere tells you. No, that's what I'm reading about it. That you're focused on finding something to blame, someone's fault. Like that, that's not manly to me, bro.
I talk about it.
It's not manly to me. To sit here and start blaming other things. Nothing to blame. I just gotta get some solutions, some answers. Like not even answers. I have to find the answer, search for the answer. You know, it's not like
ask questions.
No, like you know what I'm saying. Like put on your slippers. Like you said, ask questions. It don't matter.
Ask for help.
Ask for help. Talk to people. You're not alone. The only place you alone at is in here, ain't you? When I think about it, I'm not alone. The only place I'm at alone at is in here. And then once I start feeling alone in here, then this takes this to a place where I'm alone, and now I'm alone. Then you alone. And guess what? Then you're not even alone, because how many of y'all be ignoring calls? How many of y'all be ignoring calls in a bad state?
A lot of people.
Trying to get somebody to call you. You know what I mean? So you can see that that's a challenge for you to answer for somebody who thought to call you, but you alone. Come on.
That's a thing.
Because I'm looking at
yeah, for sure. That happens a lot. Yeah. You know? That's why I try not to do that, man. Even when I'm in my low state, pick up that phone call. I mean, what I've tried to be better at is being and more, just more vulnerable. So like if I am in a low state and I pick up that phone call, I might be, instead of being like, yeah, no, I'm good, I'm chilling, it's like, I'm alright, I'm not really, you know, and etc. And then be more honest, and then let's have that conversation. Thank you for calling me, and honestly, just being more grateful that I even got that call. Right. So I think I get that a lot. I know that there's men who are, again, we talked about this last week in our topic on male loneliness, but yeah, man, I think men are afraid, too many are still afraid to just make that phone call, you know, and a lot of times I think a lot of the brothers will have their ears, man. I think that's what's so strange. Even the hardest like dudes that I've probably ever come across, I'm sure like whenever their real brother, like someone they call a brother, will have reached out to them to talk, they've been all ears, man. I have not seen an example yet. I mean, maybe when I was younger, but again, I can't think of an example of a dude like if a man seriously called one of their boys, no matter what walk of life, you know, and said like, yo, I just need to talk, or like I'm going through something, that they turned them away. Like, nah, son, that's some bullshit. Like, you know, or like nah, or like nah, you'll be okay. Like I've seen some people be like, just drink on it. I have seen that maybe, so that is a way in which we kind of like
you said knowledge. What's their advice?
Yeah.
And how do they deal with it?
Like, I just found men be uncomfortable with listening. So it's like, oh man, you know, like, come on, man, like let's get this. Like I've seen that. So yeah, okay. So I guess I'm wrong on my statement. I walk it back. Maybe there are still examples in which I think men have a hard time listening to other men go through problems. So I think we try to bandage it. I've seen that, like, you know, again, like.
And that's that fix. Yo, I got called out, bro, and I appreciate it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I love being this transparent, like, because when I ask for it back, they really tell me. And I've been called out, and I have no shame to say that, because it's not a big deal, bro. We're trying to get better. Like, I'm trying to be the fix. I could fix it. Like, you know what I mean? Not forceful. I really give it some thought and discern it, and I will actually try, as opposed to just, maybe you don't have to. You know, maybe this is for them to figure out for themselves. And yeah, you could try to help everybody. You know what I'm saying? But then who, like, you know what I'm saying? What do you want to do? Then you out there helping every single body else instead of yourself, and then you don't get to see who can help you. And because you're too busy helping everybody else. What do you want to do? It's not that I don't want to be helpful, but it's just the idea of actually just letting it, like, you know, when I failed, I've failed, and it hasn't been a terrible thing. You know, I try to, so why do I want to, you know, I don't know, trying to let that happen. That's hard for sure.
Yeah, no, I think I like what you said, man, about just being okay with that, like being like with people telling you things and getting feedback, because we're trying to get better, and it may not sound good, right? But you have to be okay with it.
You know, I want to,
and so
vulnerable. I can't right now, bro. It's actually making me think about, you know, there have been times where I wanted to help, but I was too young. There was someone in trouble, and they cried out to me to help, and I didn't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if siblings fight and it gets like vicious, like it'd be like that, and I couldn't help, and I'd run away and cry and go to the room until it was over. And that might be interesting, that I never thought about how now to answer that call, perhaps anytime I see someone in help, you know what I mean? I never really thought about that till now, like, dang, like as a young kid though, I did have moments where I wanted to help, and I was being asked, like, Robert, help me, you know, and I, you know, to help them would have been to, you know, do something to them that's like, to honor, and you know what I'm saying, not do something to him, but I didn't know what to do. So now anytime you have a chance to do something, don't answer that call. I've been checking myself to not put myself in a very compromising position where I'm trying to help someone and I get shot, you know what I mean, like in the most extreme sense, you know what I mean, where I actually find myself to get hurt, where maybe nothing bad would have ever happened. Again, it's a day-by-day process. Most importantly, pray to God to not be ever put in that position. You know what I mean? Like, don't be in that position before you find yourself driving. You know what I'm saying?
You just went to like a more therapeutic space, man, and going that deep in terms of like tying in that childhood experience to like wanting to fix it all, and then getting that, also coming back full circle to like, well, maybe that's something I need to work on as well, and not try to be able to fix it.
It was just there. And
well, that's good, man. I think every time we could make those connections, I mean, it does suck to have to relive it though, because then you start questioning, like, wow, this really happened. I think that's usually the hardest part of our memories.
No, it's not that I forget those things. It's just I never thought, like.
No, I didn't say forget it. It's just go back. Yeah, you go back to it. Well, because it hits you different, and then you gain a new perspective. Again, going back to like emphasizing the need for like more conversations to provide education. I think to give language to things so that people can, especially men, can express themselves better, I think, and talk about these certain pains. And so going back to like, you know, the sexual assault conversation, that's why I think, you know, we'd have to get to a place where men feel comfortable and just open and vulnerable enough to just talk about it for more than like and stay focused. And I mean, just talk about what it means, talk about boundaries, because again, I've had that experience where I've taught workshops and stuff to teenagers on boundaries and consent, and I could see even from there it starts already. So even the struggle between even understanding personal space, and so you could see where people start getting ideas about consent and boundaries and sexual assault that
that are not usually helpful and can lead to sexual assault. Like for example, I never forget there was a scenario we used to always play where basically a young woman goes into a young man's room. They do stuff. She ends up having they initiate something. She ends up saying no, and then it gets the question is posed
like 7 minutes in heaven, something like
no, just like a scenario, just like a very like they go into the room, they're dating, but then the person says no, and it's usually a girl, and I can't tell you the number of times I even from adults who, when the question was posed around where was boundaries violated and where was consent violated, it wasn't even where was sexual assault. It's where was consent violated in this whole scenario. And most of the times there'll be a lot of pushback because it would always go back to well, why did she go to his room? And if she didn't really, why did she go to his room though? And I heard that from grown professor men who are teachers, who are teaching the next generation. I heard that from them, that pushback, and I've heard it from young people themselves, young men usually, who couldn't get the concept of if she comes into my room, then it's I say, well, whatever goes. You can't take it back now. So if you're in my room, you must be with it with all of it. So what are you doing in my room then if you ain't really want all of it? Or I'm going to give you. So so even it starts from that concept. And unfortunately, like you said, in the way that you say you can't call it, I've seen young men respond to this question, and I'm like, wow, you had me this whole time you were participating until we got to the scenario, and you're pretty lost as to why her going into the room, right? You're lost here, you're yeah, rape culture, yeah, I get it, man, that sounds awful, you know these statistics, and you're wait a minute, but she went to my room though, so
misunderstood.
It's wow.
Misinformed.
Yeah.
It's just because you went to a theme park don't mean you're gonna get on the rides. You know what I mean? You went to a theme park, you're gonna go on the rides, or how you go to the movies and not eat popcorn? That's fucking me, bro.
It might not happen, yeah. So he was, but again, as you said, the thinking, the comprehension definitely is not there. It's because it's wow, you're struggling in this piece because again, we're so embedded to believe.
We have been treated differently. I'm sorry to cut you off, but we've been treated so differently, men and women. You think always try to balance it out and put the opposite scenario in perspective for yourself. If a woman asked a man to go into the room, you know what I mean, the man now is and then she had those intentions. I know that the man is thinking to himself I'm in her room. I think she wants to, you know what I mean? Even if he doesn't want to, it's kind of like a woman letting you in the room is a sensitive place. It's a very vulnerable thing. So yes, you might want to have sex on her, you know what I mean? But what if you didn't want to have sex? What if you were just nervous? Your first time, about the performance, and you know what I mean? Think about just all the scenarios.
But do young men even, because if we're starting from there, do young men and are young men even given the space to even process that?
Maybe they did just wanna watch a movie and that's.
But listen, I had a situation before a couple years back with a young man, and it was fascinating. I won't forget this one either, where he was talking to me about engaging in having sex with some girl there, but he came to me to tell me about it because he was struggling with doing that because he had cheated on his girlfriend.
That action was cheating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But when he was struggling with it, it was interesting. Hearing, I remember he was like, "Yo, but I know that I'm listening to my dick, man, and I know some men would think with our dicks, and I kept on telling myself nah, she wanted, bro, she wanted. I'm not gay, you're not no gay nigga, so he was like, nah, but I'm not, so very much already battling with himself, this is wrong, my girlfriend,
that's a battle for sure.
And then now, but I'm not gay, and I was like, you see, there you go right there, man.
But he already
there, go right there.
Right, was having sex with his girlfriend. I assume if he said,
he was sexually active.
That's a trick for me, though. It's why are you then is it? See, now you're in a commitment.
And I think the thing is, learning from him, I could tell it's how the ideas that he has about manhood too is definitely tied to it, because his first thought was gay. But why? I never said anything about anything. I didn't even get to the part where I was going to start talking to him about the cheating. Yeah. That was just him in his speech.
That's
right. but that was him in his speech, and it's like I think, and why even throw that out there? Like I mean, but again, it tells me where the thinking was, and again, where do you think you're gonna get challenged for turning down a woman? Only men challenge other men for turning down a woman. Like
right.
Your homegirl's not really gonna turn you down if you be like, you know, she really wanted to have sex, and I was like, nah, I had to tell her no, and I was like, you know, I told her not to, I didn't really want to. How often are they gonna make fun of you? But like, how often can you go to the block or wherever your group of friends are? I don't give a fuck. If you're in a frat house, can you go into your frat house and can you come back from a date and then tell them, you know what I'm saying, that how they go? And it's like, well, you know, she was really nice and everything, but I didn't really want to go. Like, she invited me to her room, but I didn't really go. How are they all gonna look at you? You'd be like, nah, I didn't really want to go. I didn't really go. Half the times they're gonna be like, you did what? Yeah, you know, we were drinking and she was wasted. Yeah, she felt nice and shit, but I was cool. I just let you know she went to her room and I left. You know the reaction's gonna be like, what? And especially if you went on a date with a woman that's socially attractive. Oh, you definitely, you can't turn down. If she's fire, if she's 10 out of 10, you can't turn that down. So, and that's from and that sometimes comes from well-meaning men who would do that to just other men. Like, dude, you ain't go upstairs? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Her feet stink, bro.
I ain't tell ya, but like, we got in the car, she took her shoes off a little bit.
Let's be real, they human, man. They human.
She farted in the cab on the way back. Woo, boy.
You smell her breath.
Shit was crazy.
She didn't want to you because you ugly, but she got close to me too close.
But see, look, and I'm glad that we can say a joke, but it's like at the same time, think about that. We would have to make a joke out of it.
Nah, for sure. You know,
and
let's be privileged, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the world thinks about our lives, but I love myself.
You know, so I do think there's that.
So it's privilege.
Listen, there's the, it's
my ugly duckling face.
But how do we talk? No, Rob, how do we talk about sexual assault if even on a small note like that, you're invited upstairs and you say no, and then you want to tell this experience to your group of male friends, and then you know that they're gonna probably put pressure on you to go turn around, go right back, and make sure you make sure you go upstairs with her. Like,
I mean, that happened to me. I got forced and locked in a room and to have a sexual act. Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, after that, imagine
I wasn't about to.
Before that, going to your boys and being like, yeah, I'm about to do this thing, and then them sending you back over there because you went back to tell them, well, I told her no.
It happened in the spot where we was chilling there. We didn't go that far. We stepped out the room. We heard that we didn't do it and forced us in and locked us in, and then we just.
Right. Oh, that's what you're saying. I thought you were talking about the situation.
Nah. So. No. That was a whole different situation. Yeah, a whole different situation where that happened to me, and
So it's like so
again.
So how do we get there? How do we get the men? It is us. Because how do we? Oh, for sure. But how do we get men? Because we're talking to men. How do we get then? How do we have a conversation about that, right? So if we're talking to a group of men, because you recognize that you'll be fine. So if you're here and I come in and you see me and I go home with a 10 out of 10, and then I tell you, yo, it was fire, whatever, boom, and she had drinks all night, yo, you should see the way she was touching on me, or she even showed, you know, and then she told me to go upstairs, and I was like, nah, I just feel like going home, you know, so I just said goodbye, we had a good time, right? And I come and tell you that, you're not going to blink an eye. You're going to be like, oh, that's what's up, man, so you had a good time, yeah, chill and boom, and we're going to continue.
At this mature age, for sure. At a younger age, and you show me who she is, I'm going to actually say something. That was me, that's what I'm saying, I was insensitive to what you made.
But then, right, so how do...
ALBY. Well, no, you were chilling with her? I probably would have said this. You know what I mean? Like, nah.
And you didn't go. She told you to go upstairs, and you said no. She said spend the night.
Sick? Or you alright?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's drunk.
So then what conversation you have with yourself back then? Then to then is like to bring it to the side of, you know.
Like you said, listen. I would have just listened. If I could talk to that younger kid, it would have just been to be less reactive and listen. Like, I was very reactive. Like,
No, what I'm saying is, how do we talk to ourselves? Because again, I think I've definitely had moments, I think, especially before, where it's like, yeah, I would pressure other men to like, if you're gonna chase, like, oh, and then I think she's also attractive too. Yeah, I'm kind of in my own low-key way, like, as a matter of fact, I think about doing that to my cousin recently, to Jaffe, in a way, but I mean, he could have turned it down if he wanted to, whatever. He was chopping it up with someone at the club, at the party we was in.
He was like encouraging him.
Well, no, I didn't encourage him. He went off on his own. But what's funny is that we walked back to the car, and so he starts telling us how it's going well, and then he's like, you know, he's walking to the car, chilling, but I'm like, you said what? Like, she basically will give you her number? I'm like, boy, well, just go back and get her number. Like, yeah, I don't know, go back and get her, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like.
Bro, that's different. So he wasn't jacking it.
Bro, he went back and got the number.
We just forgot. Just like, damn, man, we just be slipping.
Hey, we just be slipping. Sometimes like, you think so? He really was like, you think so?
Man, I got you everything but a car. She want a car. She's like, write me something.
But,
say something.
I mean, look, but in a way.
There's men out there that just buy you something and just give it to you and don't have no conversation with you. It's like, sheesh, like. And then
I can't lie.
When we meeting each other and learning each other, and then you get quiet because that's again, when you've gone through things, traumatic things in life, there's ups and downs.
Yeah.
I found it very important for me to learn myself on my downs and how I don't talk. I go through it, but everybody's still going through life and watching you go through life. You're not just alone figuring it out, and they know the difference, Rob. You know what I mean? But they also won't talk about it. So that's why me. But then you learn, like, if you set the example, you know what I mean, me moving transparency, now they'll be transparent. If I'm hiding and I might want to talk about something, what makes me think you should be able to talk about it? I think that's what was interesting. Michael Raymond's first reaction was to look at everyone else. He reacted to the action, then he froze and looked at everyone else. Looked at the camera and looked at everyone else. It's very telling about how, it's very interesting to show how affected by everyone we are. How much we can help each other.
Oh, absolutely.
We're aware of each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting.
Well, that's why I want to take it to, like, talking to young men in terms of, like, how we start with a conversation around, like, okay, if we are to tackle sexual assault, then we also have to understand that we have to break down that and remove that stereotype that even us as men, we have to want sex all the time. That, like, sex is something that is, we are supposed to be ready and willing and able for. So if your boy comes in and he's telling you he went on a date and he got invited to spend the night and he said he didn't want to, right? We shouldn't automatically jump to like there's something wrong with him. We gotta let it be that was a decision that man chose at that time, that's your boy. And if he wants to tell you why he just went home, maybe because she had smelly feet, whatever. But if you know what I'm saying? But if there was nothing and he just wanted to go home because maybe that night that's what called to him. Wow, a 7.1 earthquake strikes Southern California. Is that right now? Oh, I'm sorry, that's got to be old. Sorry, well.
2007.
Because there's a documentary in the summary actually in the background playing. Yeah. Whoa. So we're talking about the time that there was an earthquake in Southern California. I'm like, listen, hey, the earthquake recently I experienced that shit. Shit was really shaking.
I think it was something Cabin.
It's kind of crazy.
Cabin, where they played on the idea of the apocalypse, like, you know what I'm saying, the Revelations. And, you know, the end of times, where it had Dave Bautista in it. And it was
Cabin?
Like 4 Horsemen. I think it was called The Cabin, something like that. Yo,
not familiar.
Hit us up in the comments if you know about that movie. Yeah. If you know about that, man, because that was quite interesting. It had, like, a very religious background. And that Shyamalan went for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to think,
A couple in the cabin with their little chinita, adopt a child, and then... I
gotta watch more movies, man. I've not been watching no movies.
I watch too many movies.
Barely watch shows.
It's definitely something that I try to utilize, like almost like a treat. You know what I mean? It was a time where, you know, Breaking Bad, man, it was wild enough. You know, to binge that. Like, so, you know, you binge watch things, True Blood. You know, but now it's like, take your time, man. Take your time. Everything's... You know, like, again, see the imbalance. Everything's just thrown at you so much. When I started seeing that, now I'm like, no, thank you. I'll pass this time, right? With everything, like Amazon and Altimu, and it's like, you know, I don't really need this. I'm not gonna buy that. You know, that's why I see God playing with me. Like, now I got some more money. You know what I mean? But after not having money, man, I don't really need to spend money right now. I know what it feels like to not have money and learn I don't need to spend it. And then when I start getting an influx of money, I'm not going to start, you see, that's when you know about your psyche, about where you was at.
Yeah.
You know, now you got money and God's watching you spend it because that's what you wanted to do. For me, I got the money not to spend it, just to see how I utilize it because something else gave it to me. Not for me to just spend it and make myself feel good, to see where it should go.
Yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. Well, I just looked at the time, so
we're doing really well, man.
Yeah, we're about to run into, I think, an hour and a half of the stream.
Yeah, like at 8:30.
Well, I got the marker at 1:21.
There's probably a lot of like waiting in the beginning when we wasn't. Were you recording early?
Well, it's about to be 10, so we started at 8:30. That would be about an hour and a half. Yeah, we started right 8:30. Yeah, man. So, I guess we probably would have to wrap. So hit our time.
Well, you know how we always end it. How you look at tackle the rest of the week. You know, challenge these kind of things. You know, yeah, love to the conversation. Thank you everybody tuning in.
Well, yeah, no, it was. We definitely jumped around to a lot of things. So again, it was heavy. So I imagine going back to it. I know you mentioned some stuff about your own personal experiences, which I appreciate you feeling comfortable sharing it. I'm sure that's gonna. I think that's key, and I think that's, again, with a platform like this, obviously there's certain things that are not for the world like this, so there will be conversations that will be better left for the future, where we could possibly do this in person, and it won't have to be a recorded show, but just a men's circle that the Manuscript develops, so we can have these kind of conversations in person and more private, but thinking about scripting something differently this week, I think, because my whole thing's been about like asking for help for these few weeks. I think what I would challenge myself to do this week, I think, is create a post that will address, as it relates to men's mental health this month, something on sexual assault. Yeah.
Oh, well, up to that, man. Let's get a clap. Let's get a clap. I already hear them. Yes. That's dope, man.
So, we're talking about it now, you know, it got brought up. Yeah, y'all watching me.
80 squads watching.
Yeah, man.
80-20, that's it.
80-20.
20%.
Listen, that's right. But yeah, I think because what we also highlighted today, it's just that if we are to address the problem, and, you know, even for men, which it starts with talking about it, even the lowest forms of how we see sexual assault come up, so stuff that doesn't seem as serious. I did fail to mention, though, I think is important to highlight, I did see commentary, and I wish I could shout out the person on the video with Michael Rainey, is that there was someone that, and I believe it was a woman, who commented and said, well, this is also a perfect example how women are not believed, because sometimes they do laugh off or they go along with it just to try to avoid any further escalation, which is what he did. But most men say, well, she was laughing, wasn't she? She was with it. You know, she was giggling on her way ass all the way up into my room. She giggled. Hey, I'm just saying, when I grabbed her around, she was laughing and giggling and shit, and I just grabbed her and put her against the wall. She's still laughing and all that.
Go on. Yeah, that's a fact.
And so,
that's a fact.
I should get the point, because again, it was such a good comment. Again, I think if we are gonna continue, like, creating awareness is important, and we could use this as an example to also continue building that awareness, and to bring up and bring this perspective in, right? Like, yeah, you're right. Like, oh shit, that is another way that women also respond to sexual assault sometimes. When men are around them, making them uncomfortable, they gotta laugh it off in front of the boys, in front of the girls, in front of the club, or in the door, right? They gotta laugh it off, because that's why she's with it, because she's laughing. You saw how she was with it, so he's not wrong. She played, right? So we gotta be very careful. Again, that goes to understanding that us as men, we are sexual beings, all of us as human, yes, but we're not pre-wired for sex, man. Like, we're not. That's because we are a man doesn't mean you have to chase sex, be after sex. Everything has to be about sex. Look, summer's coming up, all right. So I expect to see a lot of disrespect, but we can keep it respectful, y'all. Like, come on now. Like, it is not that hard. Like, you don't have to walk around over here with fucking tape over our eyes. It's just simple. Do not make someone in the street feel fucking uncomfortable. That's it. If you want to admire a sundress, because I will be admiring a bunch of sundresses this summer.
I mean, not like
If you, sure, if you want to, acknowledge, just acknowledge. Just acknowledge.
Hey, man,
That's it. You can acknowledge and keep it moving. Acknowledge and keep it moving. You don't have to say shit. You can just,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, look, don't stare. Don't say it. As a matter of fact, better yet,
Jasmine.
don't even say anything. Just the summer, don't say nothing.
Sending someone a drink, but not saying anything. Just sending them a drink. You can let them know that it came from you, but not embedding, like not.
I mean, yeah, I think that's a risky play. I think that's a risky pickup line. Because I think, you know, because, you know, I know there's some people, I know I grew up with the message of, like, don't take nobody's drink in the club. So if I order you a drink and, like, you and I have to have.
And the person gives it to them. You didn't do anything but say, hey, bartender, can you.
Yeah, make a drink for that show.
Nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with making the drink. I understand what you're saying.
But I think again, that's why it could be a risk factor, because you could be giving it to someone that's very high end, and I don't want nothing. I know that you just made it. No, but the bartender made it. I'm good. Like,
True.
so I would.
How you feel? Damn, man.
Well, I would be a little bit on the fence. Like, I'd probably be a little bit on the fence.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do it because I think it's just like I'm not promoting trying to
Get you drunk. Blame it on the goose. Got you feeling loose. What?
Yeah.
Blame it on the app. Oh, listen, we're talking about
I'd rather you
rape culture.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I ain't gonna do it for you. Like, go ahead, do what you want to do. I'd rather you keep it tight. Keep it right.
I mean, listen, I think if you have good chemistry and you develop some sort of eye contact, chemistry, small talk before.
Oh, that's tight. If you got loose eyes, you know what you're doing. Like, I'm saying.
Nah, I'm saying, if you happy now, you know what I'm saying?
Focus,
Maybe you dance to a song, you know what I mean? Like, then you probably like, we vibing. Maybe I order a drink.
Now you slap you on the dance floor. This is not.
No, I don't know.
It's not gonna work.
Maybe we probably should interview him, because that's another. Hey, listen, that's another.
Here's another conversation.
I was gonna say in terms of how it enters.
Well, affects men and women more.
I just anecdotally, I would put women on men. Yeah. I also think, I was gonna say in terms of how sexual assault and liquor go hand in hand, man. Just a myth we used to always hear about, like.
Never thought of that.
You know, as a man, if you want to get a good time with a woman, you have to feed her liquor. You know, you have to like just get her drunk. Like, you're definitely gonna have a good time. But it's like, man, that's actually how you can open someone up for sexual assault. You know what I mean? But how much liquor and sex go together? How much is we were told that's part of the blueprint of how to get this thing. So. Again, just ending, of course, on tackling and more information and bringing more stuff.
We'll be here for a long time.
Yeah, we could. But yeah, I definitely want to highlight again that comment about, like, man, keep considering when we think about sexual assault and trying to, like, no longer minimize the shit that we minimized when we were younger. Let's always keep in mind that it can absolutely happen to no one, and that's why we're calling it out, man. You're not a coward if you're a man and you decide that, like, someone touching you is uncomfortable. You're not a coward if a 10 out of 10 decides to go up to you and grope you or grab you in ways that make you feel uncomfortable and you decide it's uncomfortable. You're not any less of a man just because you decide you dismiss someone's advances. You know what I mean? Like, so we want to definitely just lay that out and let that be clear, because at least here. We believe you're good. You're not any less of a man. You're not gonna be hated. No one's gonna judge you. You're not any less of a man. You're gonna get the same respect because it is what it is. So yes.
For sure. You're not alone. There's a space for you and communicate. And obviously, stand up if it didn't feel right. Stand up for what you feel. Stand up. You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna back you up more than yourself?
Yeah.
You know, nobody.
Well, man. So you got something you're gonna script this week? I want to let you go before we go.
Man, I'd say real quick is work out, man. I want to keep it up. I came back. You know, this space, this area is it doesn't. I don't know. It's been a while for me, man. So it doesn't. It's affecting my ability to maintain some sort of like healthy habit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all like I can hold myself accountable. I'm ready to break it. It feels good. I'm happy for I've been away for like a few weeks, so that's on my mind right now, to build these healthy habits. Where I had a moment where I would wake up with the sun and go and play ball and things of that nature, and start sweating and work out, and I was able to see. It's really hard to see my place here. You know what I mean? In this space, but there's a place for you always. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta peep it. So And love to that, man. That's where I'm at. So I'm excited to let you know. Maybe
That's
I'll
just
go on and go for y'all for twice. Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this week is actually looking not too bad for it. I'll tell you that, bro. We should probably hit up the park, man. We try to work out.
Oh, my brother, I know I'm gonna hit up.
I don't do weights. That's what I'm saying. I'll be pushing some pull-ups, man. That's it. Just no weights, man.
Yeah, I seen it here first, so I bet we got a post to make and we're gonna work out. You heard? We live. Where's the hands at? Oh,
right here.
Hey. Nah, you good. Good.
It was definitely not gonna show here.
Funny.
Yeah.
See y'all, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Have a good night, man.
Good night, y'all. Peace. I'm Al.